But Ashida Kim says, recently Grandmaster Moore was interviewed on a Bogus podcast and manipulated into making disparaging remarks about Hanshi Dukes by a paid agent of Alan Goldberg. Now, just so everyone's on the same sheet of music, let's ask Google. Hey Google, what does bogus mean?
Here's the definition of bogus. Not genuine or true. Fake.
Well, the podcast is real. It's genuine. I mean, people watch it. People have heard about it. I've had very legitimate guests on here. I had amazing guests, by the way. Don the Dragon Wilson, he's got the Guinness Book of World Records for most world kickboxing titles, I believe. Had Benny the Jet Urquidez, another amazing kickboxer. Head writer-director Sheldon Lettich made some of the best martial arts and action films ever, right? I had a lot of really cool people on the channel, man. Great martial artists like Scott Atkins, Mark Dacascos, Michael Jai White. I had Frank Dux, undefeated heavyweight Kumite champion. Though we did learn in a video I posted yesterday, and you guys got to check this one out, linked in the description below. Apparently he did lose one fight, though it didn't really count because it was an amateur match. So when he says I have like a bogus podcast, like what is he talking about, man? These are stellar guests. I have no idea what he's talking about. But if he wants to throw the word bogus around, I mean, this dude literally claims he can levitate, like riding the wind.
And of course, the third meaning of ride the wind means to be able to float and to levitate.
Ollie, watch closely, man. Watch closely. Okay, look at this. So it's in front of him. It never actually goes underneath him, though. Like, what is this trying to prove, man? It's ridiculous. Don't you think that's ridiculous, Ollie? He does stick a pretty good fake landing, though. I'll give him that. I'm literally closer to levitating than this dude, man. Like with my training, for example, yesterday in the gym. And I have weight trying to force me down. But this is closer to levitation than what he's doing. And I'm not trying to sell this on some mystical, magical ninja stuff. This is just real training and consistently stretching and strengthening your legs. So it's having flexible legs and strong hamstrings, for example, then you can achieve what is way closer to real life levitation than what he's doing, man. But the reason I'm doing this video is kind of a preview because a lot of people say, hey, you should do a deep dive into Count Dante and the Black Dragon Fighting Society. And I met a guy who, Ashida Kim, you may know, named William Aguiar, whose father trained with Count Dante, and he inherited the rights to the Black Dragons. And now William Aguiar has them, and I believe there were some lawsuits between you two because you were claiming some certain things. I mean, let's see what the Pinkman says, for example.
Perhaps the final nail in his coffin, though, was the lawsuit filed against him by the present-day head of the Black Dragon Fighting Society. Apparently, Davis never had any association with the late Count Dante and was using the BDFS's trademarks and copyrights illegally on his website.
Davis referenced in that Pinkman video, by the way, is Ashida Kim. I guess his name is really Radford Davis. And he's calling me bogus. Like, look, at least the Viking samurai have ancestral ties to Vikings and samurais. I mean, shit, I got the Viking beard coming, right? But, yeah. I mean, Ashida Kim, that's just completely made up. But what I'm going to do is a deep dive and get the truth about the Black Dragons. And obviously, I'm going to get William Aguiar's side. But with how I like to do things on the channel, I think the audience can appreciate this because I try my best to remain as unbiased as I can. Though I'm only human, I do believe I'm better than average at remaining unbiased. Trying to get both sides, keeping an open mind. But I want to personally invite you on here, Ashida Kim, because I know we exchanged emails maybe like a year ago and you thought I was like unfair. So do yourself a favor, man, because I'm going to get William Aguiar's story and I'm pretty sure he's going to provide some evidence and probably say some not so nice things about you. And that, I don't only want that on the channel though, man. I want to get your side too, right? Because we really want to get to the bottom of the whole Black Dragon thing, and I think that's great for the audience. I think it's more than fair to you. And whether William Aguiar likes it or not, that's just the way I do things here. And he knows I'm unbiased anyway, man. Like when I talk to him on the phone, he's like, yeah, you know, I kind of like that about you. You're unbiased. But I get shit for that sometimes. Like, look, don't get me wrong, man. Like, I feel very strongly about certain things, right? But I still try my best to like hear other sides because there's other evidence that comes in light. Like I could change my opinion about things, man. Like I think more people should be that way. But I do get a lot of shit though, man. So for example, here's a comment I really like that I got from that Frank Dux video I put up yesterday. This is from Train to Change the Renaissance Man. He said, You know, reading through these comments, and I have to ask this, is everyone's ego so based on catcalls and shouting insults? Here's a guy doing these interviews, me, and asking frank questions, not judging, not being derogatory, merely asking his questions and letting someone have a forum to express themselves. Which you could have that too, by the way, Ashida Kim. So, yeah, I appreciate that comment, man, because again, like with some of the stuff that I do on the channel, I do get a lot of shit for it, man, by simply inviting somebody on here and them sharing their story and their experience and whether they exaggerated or not. Look, I don't really know, man. So another example was Grandmaster Vic Moore with these Bruce Lee claims. Look, man, the guy's accomplished a lot in his life. Are the Bruce Lee stories true? I don't really know, man. Obviously, you guys know I'm a staunch defender of Bruce Lee. In fact, I've given people crap with their comments over Bruce Lee over the years. You know, stuff that Michael Jai White said, Mickey Gall said, Quentin Tarantino. I got videos about all that stuff, guys, because I'm always defending Bruce Lee because he's an icon and he turned millions of people onto the martial arts. Whether he's the greatest fighter or not doesn't really matter, man. He should be respected, in my opinion, especially because he's not here anymore. Now, as far as Vic Moore, I never gave him any crap about the Bruce Lee claims. I did, however, have a guy, the Kung Fu Genius. You guys should check that out if you haven't seen it. We did a really cool live episode and had some audience Q&A coming in. But basically, you know, he thought Vic Moore's claims were just completely bogus, and he said why he feels that way. So the reason that I give Vic Moore a pass and not like other guys, you know, like Mickey Gall, Michael Jai White, Quentin Tarantino, whatever, who said stuff about Bruce Lee.
I can understand his daughter having a problem with it, but anybody else, go suck a dick.
The reason I kind of give Vic Moore a pass is at least he experienced firsthand Bruce Lee. So with whatever he wants to say, with what he's saying, he deep down knows the truth. Whether that's what he is saying in the interview or not, at least he experienced Bruce Lee. So I don't really have an issue with him saying what he has to say because it's not based on speculation. And if somebody wanted to speculate on Bruce Lee, again, an icon who inspired and motivated millions upon millions of people, I don't really like negative speculation, to be honest, man. Like, if somebody wants to gush about Bruce Lee, cool, man. I mean, that's fine, but I don't like the negative speculation if they haven't experienced them in the talk down, because I feel like they're trying to bring him down in order to raise themselves up. Like, so somebody like Mickey Gall, for example, I don't even know what his record is in the UFC. It's not good. But basically, him say, oh, I could beat Bruce Lee's ass.
But fuck Bruce Lee up.
Wait a minute.
It's like, okay, well, hypothetically, even if you could, what does that do for you? Like, your fight record sucks, dude.
It is the truth.
So, like, saying whether or not, or whether you believe you could beat Bruce Lee or not, it's, I mean, I guess I could give you a little attention, but a lot of people just take issue with that, man. And after you said that, you got knocked out pretty bad, and it's like, honestly, the guy fought you, maybe channeled by the spirit of Bruce Lee, just like in the film No Retreat, No Surrender, you know? So that's karma, man. Oh, but look at this comment that Ashida Kim posted on his Facebook. So he says, here's a video of Frank Dux and Vic Moore meeting as friends at the Martial Arts Hall of Fame in Nashville, 2009. And I believe this is footage they got from that Put Up Your Dukes documentary. And even when I interviewed Vic Moore, to be fair, because I was aware of that footage, I put that in the video because Vic Moore, at least in the Put Up Your Dukes documentary, it seemed like he was talking about him and Frank did train and spar or, you know, fight, whatever, together. But now he says he didn't. So there's a discrepancy there, right? And I talked to Vic Moore on the phone to get more clarity, by the way. And I have a much better understanding of everything. But Ashida Kim says, recently Grandmaster Moore was interviewed on a Bogus podcast and manipulated into making disparaging remarks about Hanshi Dukes by a paid agent of Alan Goldberg. I know he's referencing my podcast as far as being bogus. As far as being manipulated and making disparaging remarks, I don't know if he's talking about me or the agent of Goldberg manipulating him. Vic Moore was going on and on about people's backgrounds, and there's so many people claiming Grandmaster, and I beat this guy, and I beat that guy, and, you know, Vic obviously fought a lot in these tournaments, and there's proof. But he said, by my standards, I need proof. Like, who did you beat? When did you beat them? Etc. And because I know he had an association with Dukes, how the hell could I not ask about Frank Dux? Because again, the big thing is, like, where's the evidence of these 329 matches, man? So why wouldn't I ask Vic?
Just name one person that they fought and call Vic Moore. I like to hear it.
Grandmaster Moore, I gotta ask you this. I have to ask you this. I gotta ask you about Frank Dux. So that is not manipulating him in any way to make disparaging remarks. And this part about by a paid agent of Alan Goldberg, again, like, I don't know if he's referring to me or if he's referring to somebody else working with Vic undermining Frank Dux and Ashida Kim. I mean, speaking about support, though, and being paid, man, if you guys want exclusive content, if you want to help me out in any way, because it does take a lot of time and a lot of energy creating these YouTube videos. And again, I'll get you guys some cool exclusive content. Check out the Patreon linked in the description below. I'm trying to better monetize this channel in a way because I spend all my extra time and energy doing this stuff for you guys. And the ad revenue on YouTube is just not there, man. So if you'd be so kind, help a brother out and check out that Patreon. But anyway, he also said, anyone who supports him or his Action Martial Arts Magazine Hall of Fame is complicit in this conspiracy. Look, Alan Goldberg puts on a really great yearly event. I went there myself. I met a bunch of really cool people in person. I mean, it's just a friendly environment for all these martial artists and all these fans of these martial arts and whatnot, just to basically assemble in an area and have a good time, right? There's nothing negative about that, man. There just is. I had a great experience when I went last year. And then it says, the elder abuse of one of the pioneers of martial arts in America. So Vic Moore is one of the pioneers of martial arts in America. Definitely, man. No question. Elder abuse, like, how, dude? Like nobody's taking, as far as I know, negatively taking advantage of Grandmaster Vic Moore. There is something very interesting that happened to the GoFundMe that was set up for him that I told you guys about, and I contributed and I got refunded because apparently that whole thing was taken down. I mean, that's a whole thing. But as far as like elder abuse, it's like, I think somebody in a comment even said, oh, you know, Vic Moore's got dementia and they're taking advantage of him. I literally talked to him on the phone for over an hour just a few days ago. He seemed perfectly fine. And I've dealt with people who have, you know, unfortunately, signs of dementia, man. It's quite obvious after, if not a few minutes, definitely after 10 minutes, man. So Vic Moore does not suffer from that, in my opinion, whatsoever. He was totally there, mentally clear, and, you know, fun, knowledgeable guy to talk to, in my opinion. So anyway, I want to do the deep dive on the Black Dragon Fighting Society, the Black Dragon. So I'm going to get William Aguiar and his story and his side. But again, just to be fair, I'd like to get Ashida Kim's side too. And then the audience can ultimately look at the evidence, look at the interviews, and decide for themselves, man. Like, I don't really have any skin in the game, to be honest. Like, whether William Aguiar and all of his claims are true and he's the real Black Dragons dude, or Ashida Kim is true, it's like, I don't have any skin in the game. I just want to hear the story and make sense of it myself from the actual people, not just some articles online. So that's it. That's all I got to say for now. In closing, I'll just say this is not, and I believe most people don't think it is, a bogus podcast YouTube channel in any way, man. But the fact that Ashida Kim would say that is kind of ironic, man. I'll let Pinkman tell you the information he puts out there.
Any self-defense advice typically just amounts to carrying sand around in your pockets so you can throw it in your attacker's eyes.
That's gold, Jerry. Gold!
Like, the only people who'd really talk shit about this podcast, and there's a handful, I'm not going to name them. Some people might have done it in videos, some people might have done it in Facebook posts, but when I look at each of these individuals, like, it just adds more credibility to me, man. It really does.